Manchester United are preparing for one of the most significant transfer windows in recent memory, and the activity behind the scenes is already generating serious headlines. Three stories are dominating the conversation right now: a low-cost goalkeeper return, an £80 million pursuit of one of Europe's most complete midfielders, and a young talent with a very personal connection to Old Trafford. Let's get into all of it. United's current goalkeeping setup heading into the 2026-27 season carries some clear vulnerabilities. Andre Onana is locked in as the undisputed number one, and that position is not under question. The issue lies beneath him. Alte Bayendier, brought in as backup, is unsettled and is actively seeking regular game time elsewhere. Tom Heaton has been extended for one more year, but everyone at the club understands that is not a long-term solution, it is a stopgap measure. United need a dependable, experienced backup goalkeeper who knows what it means to perform at this level. That is where Sam Johnstone enters the picture. Johnstone is a product of United's own academy. He came through the club's development system, which means he already understands the culture, the standards, and the demands that come with wearing a Manchester United shirt. After leaving the academy, he went on to accumulate 85 top-flight appearances across spells at Crystal Palace and Wolves, establishing himself as a reliable and experienced Premier League goalkeeper. Wolves' relegation from the Premier League this season has opened a door. Johnstone is now available, and with his estimated market value sitting at just £1.7 million, this represents extraordinary value for a club of United's resources. The move has been described internally as very promising, a low-risk, high-reward solution to a genuine squad problem. Now to the story that has captured the attention of the entire football world. Michael Carrick, driving the rebuild at Old Trafford, has set out an ambitious blueprint for next season. United will compete across four competitions: the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup. That demands a deep, high-quality squad, and Carrick knows it. One piece of business is already confirmed. A deal for Ederson has been agreed, a £35 million transfer on a 4-year contract with a 1-year option. But that is only the beginning. United are still targeting 2 additional midfielders, a left winger, a left back, and potentially a striker and a centre back. The scale of the rebuild is significant. The biggest name on the list is Sandro Tonali. United are preparing an £80 million bid to Newcastle United for the Italian midfielder. Newcastle, however, are not making this easy. They value Tonali closer to £100 million and have made it clear they have no intention of selling without a serious fight. Tonali's contract runs until 2028, and under Eddie Howe, he has been an integral part of how Newcastle play. Newcastle's reluctance is understandable, especially after losing Anthony Gordon to Barcelona. Losing another key asset in the same window would represent a significant blow to their squad, but there is a critical factor that changes the dynamic entirely. Newcastle finished 12th in the Premier League this season, which means they failed to qualify for European football. There is an informal agreement in place. Tonali can leave if Newcastle do not qualify for the Champions League. This clause, while not a formal release mechanism, opens a legitimate pathway for a departure. For Tonali himself, European football is not merely a preference, it is a necessity. Without consistent Champions League football, his place in the Italian national team picture becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. United, who are in the Champions League, go straight to the front of the queue before other European giants begin making their moves. Tonali's numbers since joining Newcastle from AC Milan in 2023 speak for themselves. He has contributed 10 goals and 10 assists, proving himself as far more than a defensive midfielder. He played a key role in Newcastle's 2025 Carabao Cup triumph, demonstrating his ability to perform in high-pressure, high-stakes matches. His agent Rizzo has been direct in his assessment, describing Tonali as one of the most valuable Italian footballers in the world. That is not just an agent talking up his client, it is a fair reflection of how Tonali is viewed across European football. And then came the moment that sent United's fanbase into a frenzy. Casemiro, the Brazilian international and former United midfielder who made over 150 appearances for the club, has spoken openly about United's pursuit of Tonali, and his words were not vague or diplomatic. He was direct and clear. Casemiro stated that United always need the best players if they are to return to the level of dominance they once held. He praised Tonali's physicality, tactical intelligence, character, and mentality, 4 qualities that Casemiro himself brought to the Old Trafford midfield during his time at the club. Most significantly, Casemiro views Tonali as the ideal successor to his own role at Manchester United. Coming from a player who operated at that position for years, winning trophies at Real Madrid, and understanding the demands of the biggest stages, that endorsement carries genuine weight. Casemiro also framed the pursuit itself as a positive signal. He sees United's interest in a player of Tonali's caliber as evidence that Michael Carrick is heading in the right direction with this rebuild. It is not just a transfer story, it is confirmation from an insider perspective that the ambition and direction at Old Trafford are aligned. The third story is one that goes beyond football statistics and transfer fees. It is also a story about family. Alex Scott is a 22-year-old midfielder currently at Bournemouth, and Manchester United have identified him as a serious target. He fits precisely the youth-first vision that Carrick has outlined for the squad, a player with Premier League experience, long-term potential, and the profile to contribute across both domestic and European campaigns. The transfer situation, however, is complicated. Contract talks between Scott and Bournemouth have reached a standstill. His contract runs until 2028, and Bournemouth are demanding between £50 million and £60 million to let him go. United have been maintaining regular contact with Scott's camp, but they are not alone. Liverpool are also seriously interested, and the competition for his signature is real. Scott's profile has been elevated further by events at the international level. He has been included in England's extended World Cup squad for the tournament in North America. He was not named in the official starting group, but was called up as one of 5 additional players. He came on as an unused substitute in England's 1-0 win against New Zealand in Tampa, and he is tipped to feature against Costa Rica in England's final warm-up match before the tournament begins. But the story that makes Alex Scott's potential move to Old Trafford particularly compelling is a personal one. His stepsister is Maya Letitia, known as Mia, and she is the captain of Manchester United women's team. Mia joined the women's side from Brighton in the summer of 2022, and in her very first season she was named in the PFA Women's Super League Team of the Year. She is also an England women's international. Alex and Mia grew up playing football together for the same local team. Their bond goes back to the foundations of both their careers, and it has never weakened. They speak almost every single day. When Alex received his senior England call-up, the first message he received was from Mia. Her advice to him was straightforward and precise: enjoy every moment, stay true to yourself, show your best. Alex has described her as his perfect mentor when it comes to handling pressure at the top level. For a 22-year-old navigating the biggest moments of his career, that kind of guidance from someone who has already been through it is invaluable. The idea of Alex Scott joining Manchester United would not just be a transfer. It would mean a brother and sister who grew up playing football together on the same local pitch, both representing the same club at the highest level of the game. 3 transfer stories, 3 very different narratives. A goalkeeper return built on low cost and high trust. An £80 million pursuit of a midfielder whose own predecessor has given a public blessing. And a 22-year-old whose personal story is already intertwined with Old Trafford in a way that no transfer fee can fully capture. Carrick's Manchester United are moving with purpose this summer, and the pieces are beginning to fall into place.